During this past year, many have begun to realize that traditional models of education are inadequate in preparing the future generation to meet the challenges of today. And as a result, a new green school, the first of its kind in South Africa, is all set to open in the Western Cape in January 2021. The school aims to move away from being textbook learning, but rather focus on instilling an individualistic concept of success by being mindful of the natural and the social world. To tell us more about this, we are joined on Skype by the school's founder, Alba Brandt. Alba, very good morning to you. Thanks for joining us. Welcome to Morning Live.
Good morning, Sam. Thanks for having me.
Let's start with understanding what the Green School concept is all about and why you decided to introduce it here in South Africa.
Big question. So if I can just talk about why, my family and I, we attended the Green School in Bali about 3 years ago. And we went there as a family adventure, living in a jungle. We could use Zoom, and whenever we had internet, we could continue with our jobs. But our kids had such an educational journey there that we realized, we don't want to stay in Bali for the next 12 years while they finish school. So the only other option for us was to then open the school here. So it was because of our personal experience of a different curricula, of a different way of thinking about education, about, what do kids need in the future? How do you prepare kids for a job in 2030 and 2035? And how will the world change? And what is it that kids will need to thrive in it? And not just, have a job and make ends meet and grind through life, but having beautiful and inspiring lives and to think about life that way. So that's the reason why we open it. And what's different about it is quite a lot of things. So I think the big thing is that it's a school with a mission. So it's called Green School because it's all about educating for sustainability. And if we think about the planet and we think, about planet boundaries, and in the Western Cape we had drought. So that was a very good preparation for, if there are planetary boundaries imposed on humanity, how severe they can be and how quickly and drastically things can change for us. And having, teaching kids how to think about the world and the way that we live in the world, and to think about, if you go one day into a specific industry, and all industries will have to adapt over the next, 50 years or so. And
Alba,
we have a responsibility.
Yeah, Alba, South Africa is the third campus in a planned international network of green schools. Just speak to us about the curriculum. Is it going to be the same as the one used in Bali and New Zealand?
Yes, to a large extent, it's the same used in Bali and New Zealand. We can adopt it with specific things relevant in South Africa.
Okay.
And but yes, it's part of an international network of schools, and we follow the same curriculum.
Okay. Now, the school aims to maintain a ratio of 1 teacher to 10 learners. Speak to us about this and how it's going to benefit the learners.
So the teaching style changes when you reach about 12 to 15 kids in a class. So below that, you have the much more opportunity to engage with each individual learner. So your options of having differentiated groups in a class. So, we separate kids according to age groups, but within an age group, you've got a very wide range of kids' skills and understanding of any specific subject. So if you've got a lower teacher-student ratio, you can break your class up into sort of proficiency levels and say, for this group of kids, okay, you understand at the moment already, how to multiply this with that, so then we can stretch you. And for another group, we're still explaining this concept to you. So that allows differentiated learning.
Okay. And you say that learners at Green School are taught to think openly, to thrive with purpose, and to become a green leader of tomorrow. Say that in English.
Yes. So I think that, sometimes we teach ourselves that when you're in preschool, just wait until you go to big school. Then, then life is great. And then when you're grade 1, you want to go for grade 2, and you have to wait for that. And then you have to wait for high school. And then you're going to go to university, and then you're going to get a job. And then at some point you realize, but when is this ultimate point where you're going to reach, where you're going to feel like, yes, I'm on it. This is the big life that I'm having. Right. And I think we're teaching exactly the opposite, that when you're in preschool, that's so awesome. Have fun and enjoy it. And find like the best in those time of your life that you want to thrive in it. And then thriving also, I think, not just coping and not getting by, but finding that life for yourself, finding your purpose, and finding the route that you want to go. And the school's responsibility is teaching you the skills to then follow your passions.
How do you like that? Teaching the skills to follow your passion from such a tender age. And now, break down for us the campus layout, Alba. I believe that the school's campus was designed and constructed in accordance with the international gold standards in green building, wasn't it?
Yes. So we are pushing the boundaries in terms of, green. And, saying that we're a green school, we have the responsibility to design it in a way that's absolutely beautiful and fantastic, and to then have construction that's super green. So we're going for the Living Building Institute, the Living Building Challenge, and that means that we have to comply with a whole set of very rigorous standards, which we're doing. And but there's one, that's all about beauty. And so it's a combination of being very rigorous in the materials that we choose and how do we build. But how do you build a place that's of beauty so that people walking on the campus just love being there?
We're out of time, unfortunately, Alba. Just a quick question, which is very important. And for those parents who may be interested in taking their children to the Green School, take us through the application and the admission process, as well as the type of learners that qualify to be admitted. Cool.
So we've got a website, www.greenschoolsa.co.za, and on the website there's an application form that you need to complete, and then we evaluate all the kids that apply to the school to make sure that our campus is an appropriate learning environment for the kids that apply here, and then we send you a contract and then you're admitted to the school. And kids that qualify are all happy kids. And I think you just need to be able to function in a learning environment. It is still, it is a school. We're not a special needs school. We can accommodate certain kids more easily. It's more inclusive than a typical standard school because we've got more space and we have the lowest teacher-student ratio. But and that's why we evaluate all kids.
All right, Alba. Brilliant concept. You've identified a gap in the market and decided to fill it, and for the betterment of a society and in a much greener future. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much.
That is founder of the first green school in South Africa, Alba Brandt, and she's been speaking to us about their recently launched campus in the Western Cape that is set to open its doors for learners next year in January 2021.